Hey guys, welcome to another episode of El Color Latino Wisconsin podcast, una ventana a la comunidad hispana y cultura latina. And today I had the pleasure to interview Mikala Hall and Katie Sturm. Mikala, she's like the founder and team lead of certified investigator of Park City Paranormal, and I got to interview her alongside of Katie Sturm, who's another team member, one of the team members that Park City Paranormal has, and they are based out of Merrill, Wisconsin. I got to sit down and we talked about all things paranormal. We talked about how this project came about, how it got started, about the strange encounters that they had, and we talked about this one strange encounter that really stuck out to them, and we talked about that, and we kind of dug deep into that, and they were able to tell us about their equipment and how it works. So we were able to have a nice chat with them, and I think Whitewater Music City Hall to let us do our podcast there, and they were very nice to let us use their space. And so if you ever around the Wausau area, feel free to go to the Whitewater Music Hall and check out their coffee menu. It's also they have a bar area there, and check it out. And it's a very good place. I like going there. It has a good vibe. So shout out to Whitewater Music Hall. With that being said, let's start the show. Yeah.
And so I posted on Facebook on the Merrill, you're from Merrill, Wisconsin, if blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
I posted on that Facebook page and was like, hey, if you guys, or I'm looking to form a paranormal team, like an investigation team. If you're interested, come to, it was at Los Mezcales, the restaurant in Merrill at 6 or whatever on a Thursday night, whatever it was. I don't even remember.
It was actually Thursday night.
It was? Good memory. She remembers better.
Good memory.
And honestly, it was crazy because we had about 8 people total, I think, show up, all girls.
Oh wow! So that's a pretty good response.
Yeah,
and all girls too.
All girls. I
Yeah.
swear to God, everyone's like, "Oh, so guys aren't allowed in your team?" No, that's not at all.
Those are the people that showed
That's
up.
just
and
who showed up.
Yeah.
It was all girls, and I don't know why, which is crazy
Yeah.
because So I mean, that's how we started, I guess. Is I just woke up one day and was like, "Hey, want to do this?" And everyone, Katie's over here like, "I thought you'd never ask."
Yeah, that's funny. So were you must be one of those girls that showed up.
I was one of those people.
So are most of those people are in like current team members of it, or some of them just like showed up? You kind of give them the idea, and they're like, "Well, maybe we're not interested," or all of them are.
maybe.
Some of them, yeah, some of them, because we ended up with 5 then after that.
Yeah. Yep. I would say I think we had like a turnout of 8 or 9, and then 5 ended up being in like solidly on the team. So
Yeah.
Yep. And we still have five women.
I mean, what was the criteria? Like
Really, not much. Just the same. Want to know more about the other side. The passion. Yes. Yep.
So tell me a little bit more about like what does it mean, like because I've read a little bit about the paranormal events. It's something that is unexplained, that there's just no scientific explanation for what happens. So in your words, like what does that mean? Like what do you guys do like with Park City Paranormal? What kind of things do you guys, I guess, focus on?
Well, we use a lot of equipment, I guess. Like Katie could probably explain that a little bit better.
Yeah. So what we do is when we hear anything paranormal, we break out any kind of equipment. So REM pad, which picks up on like electromagnetic field type stuff. Recorders, whatever we can find that is very unexplainable at that moment in time, whether if it goes off on its own without any explanation and we like to try to debunk things, so
Yeah.
We're not one of those that.
So I guess my question is like, what are the things that don't have an explanation? Are they just like appearances, noises, or like tell me a little bit more about that?
So
like
some noises, I would say, like if you hear, like once in a while we'll hear footsteps or talking.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. So we will go through the entire place just to see if there's any other person or even like a vent of some sort
Yeah.
making noises, anything. So
I've
And if we can't find anything like that, that's kind of when we call it a very unexplainable event.
Yeah, like, and I have quite a few pictures that have clear faces in them.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And bodies and whatever, and that everyone.
Like there's no doubt in
Absolutely.
in your mind that that's a person.
100%. And a lot of times the REM pod, we get a lot with the REM pod, where it will just.
That's one of the tools that you guys use?
Yeah, that's my favorite tool. Yeah, probably.
That's your go-to tool. Yeah.
Right. So
That's
like
funny.
if for example, if we have a REM pod set up in an area where nobody's going through, there's not really any electricity that it should be picking up on.
Sure.
I mean, if you go over and touch it, the antenna, it'll go beep, 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 and it'll light up.
Okay.
And then if you take your hand off of it, it'll be silent and quiet and won't be flashing. And
Yeah.
whatever. And so if we're nowhere near it and all of a sudden it starts going off, we're like, what could that be?
What could that be? Yeah.
And we've had the last investigation we did. It's kind of confidential, so I won't give too many details.
Sure.
It responded to our questions like this, and it was like we could ask, "Are you a male?" Didn't say anything. "Are you a female?" Beep 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 beep.
No, are you serious? So it gets that detailed.
Yeah.
And all this is documented, right? And this is
Yes.
part of like a portfolio or something that you put together
Yep, we
for
have a
your
website.
client or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
What's because you guys have a website? What's your website?
What's
name?
it called? Park City Paranormal at GoDaddy sites. Something I would like to get our own domain name.
Okay, but for now, that's where you have like
Yes.
kind of like a little bit
Right.
history, how you got started and everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I wanted to tell you because that resonated something with an experience that I had. Maybe you can help me out trying to figure out what I experienced. So my parents and I went to Jerusalem.
Oh.
And we went to where Jesus was born, and it's like a little cave. And I don't know if you know about the history of the buildings and the churches that they built there in Jerusalem. So there a lot of them are ruins. So what they do, they just hire like architects from Italy or something, and they'll create like this really beautiful, wonderful church like right on top of it. So you can go underneath underneath like the church, and you can kind of see like there's a division where there's like the old rock and then they put some new rock on top of it. And so there's like this beautiful churches. And so we went in where supposedly Jesus was born. And so there's like this huge line. It's like this beautiful church, and you go through like you have to wait in line for like an hour, and you go like into like a little basement. It's almost like a little cave. And there's like that place where Jesus was born. And there's no way to explain it, but I felt like this really strange energy, like where I started feeling like shaky. Like my mom, she's like, I can't be in here. I just can't stand it. Like she said, like her legs like started like feeling weak, and I felt like I was like short of breath, and I was just like, I need to get out of here. And I'm not saying like this is like a positive or a negative energy.
Whatever it was strong.
But it was something that it was affecting me. It was like I need to get it. I mean, is that something similar? Like there's some type of energy.
Yeah, we've
like,
had that.
and I was like, it just took me by surprise because it was just, I never experienced something like that, and it was like, just like, wow, like what is this? And I just felt like it was like it almost felt like very exhausting. It felt like it was taking some energy away from me or something like that. It's just hard to explain. I mean, could that be like some type of paranormal event or something?
Could be. Yes.
Yeah, because it's really all energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is. And I know I've experienced something like that too, where I would shake and it was like, can't explain that for whatever reason that it would happen.
Right.
But then like 5 minutes later, I'd be completely fine.
Right.
As long as I got out of that space.
And even at Shakers, when I went up there, I did not an investigation. I did a ghost tour there.
Okay.
And with my former husband, and we went there, and we went up to the top floor, and there was this picture, and it was like hidden back behind in this old like this kitchen area that was like blocked off, but they let me peek back there anyway.
Yeah.
And I peeked back behind the curtain to see this like little kitchen, and there was a picture of a baby, and immediately I almost fainted, and I've never experienced that in my life. And I'm like, what is going on? And it was like, felt short of breath, felt weak, felt dizzy.
Yeah, so it was
felt
something
like I
very
was gonna
similar
be
to
sick.
that. It was just something I never experienced before. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, because I feel like it's all like energy. It's all like just, I'm a true believer that there's like another dimension where, like we were talking about, we had a good talk, over there, while we're, getting our coffee about like there's our 3D dimension, like right now, you can touch this, but I truly believe like where we were talking about like there's this other dimension where there's just like this, because I feel like when we die, because I view everything as energy, right? When we die, it's like it's an energy, and that energy has to go somewhere.
Right.
And I truly believe there's these energies. There's they go to another dimension where other energies,
Right. Yeah.
exist. I truly feel that, and it's just very interesting. Like you can feel this. It's not very visible, but you can definitely feel this. It has some essence.
Right, right. And I mean, I guess everybody's different, and I don't want to get into religion or anything, but I guess basically my belief is that some cross over and some stay here. And so we try to investigate, why they're still here, or if we can get any type of response from them, kind of proving that they're still
But do
here.
you think
they're
once you get this portfolio, once you have all this, like data, and you bring this portfolio to your clients, then I mean, do curses exist? Is it because of a curse, or is there just some energy that's going around there? Like, what type of conclusions kind of come out of this?
Well, it's kind of hard because a lot of the investigations we've done haven't really been for a client, which is weird. We've most of our investigations have been like just public places that we've gone and
Oh,
are
sure,
doing
sure.
it for our own research, I guess.
Right, yeah.
We have done, I guess, a couple where we presented information, and
Oh, okay.
we've never found anything, at least knock on wood. We've never had anything like crazy evil. Like, we've had spirits that we believe to be, we call them like crabby spirits, where they're like not
sure.
necessarily dangerous, but just
Harmless, but still they're
crabby.
they're
Yeah.
lingering.
Yeah,
they're
like
lingering
we're
there.
in their space and they're like F off,
Yeah.
like go away. We don't want you
Yeah.
here, type of thing. So I guess we haven't really had to run into that. We both have been we did like a workshop, like a demonology workshop from what's his name? Jeremy, the Cajun demonologist, and he's on 28 Days Haunted on Netflix.
Okay.
We took his class, his workshop, or
Sure,
about demonology, and we have yet to knock on wood experience anything of that nature. But yeah, like I said, I believe everything is energy. We have yet to have anything kind of jump out at us or getting like something crazy in front of us. But I mean,
Yeah, because that would freak me out. If you show me a picture of like.
And I will.
Of a person, and and it's like, wait, I just took this picture, and that would freak me out. You know what I mean?
We have one.
I mean, you guys aren't freaked out about it. Like that's that's
it's
pretty
freaky.
brave. So it's funny. It's funny, like how all women just show up to this. And all the guys like, if I was the guy, I would be like, I don't want to have to do anything with that.
And me and my team, we always say, like, if somebody jumps out in front of us, we're gonna be screaming and running. Like, I mean, it's not something where we're just gonna be of no fear. But
that's part of the excitement, right?
Yeah. We're waiting for something like that to happen, and we almost want it to happen so that we can say this happened to all of us and we all experienced it. I mean, and we've had some pretty sketchy. Me and Katie almost ran out of shakers that one day because we both heard a little girl talk to us at the same time, and we're both like, we're out. Like, so I mean, not to say that we don't have fear. It's just something that interests us so much that we just want to learn more and find out more. But yeah, I mean, we always talk about like, okay, something's gonna scare us. We're gonna run out, and then we'll take a 5-minute breather, and then we're gonna come back in.
That's funny.
We're all gonna hold hands and do the Care Bear stare when we come back.
But do you think if there's like spirits out there or something that they'll try to like throw you signs? You know what I mean? Because I've heard stories. Because there's people telling me it's like, hey, there was this like I can't remember. There's like the cigar shop in Milwaukee. I don't remember where it was. Shakers. Oh, is that Shakers?
Yeah, that's Shakers. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, so this person told me about like I don't know if they have books there. I think sometimes like she said that this person that I met, she would tell me that like late at night, before closing, like one of the books would kind of be knocked over, or just like little glasses would be knocked over. Like, should those things be ignored, or should just like, or that just kind of like the spirit kind of teasing you and be like, okay, well, kind of getting your attention.
Right. A lot of them want to be known. So it's kind of funny. It's part of what we do. So I guess we really feel like when we go in an investigation, the more that we're kind of in its face, show yourself, come in with a big group, the less likely they're going to actually do something for us. Like, they don't want to dance for us when we say dance. So a lot of times halfway through our investigation, we will just stop and play cards, or we'll just eat snacks or whatever. A lot of times that's when stuff happens, because they're like, hey, we're here.
They're trying to get your attention. Kind of make their presence. And,
yes.
We kind of always tell people to like let them know that okay, I know you're here.
Right,
Always
acknowledge.
Oh, sure,
like that
because they want that, right?
Yeah.
They
Yep,
they
that's what
want
they're looking
they want
for.
you to know there.
They're like, hey, like kind of like a cat would
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
like knocking the thing over, like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they want. They're that, to me, that signifies that they're looking to communicate. So just be like, hey, talk to them like they were, if they're a person that's still living, and people notice that, like, once they start to get to kind of know the spirit and introduce themselves to the spirit
Yeah.
and get to like build that rapport with their spirit.
Yeah.
It sounds silly, but it's true, then they notice that they're not quite as scared, or maybe they're not,
But I mean, for the most part, are they harmless? Because I told my dad.
Yeah.
See that, and there's an explanation for this question, because I told my dad, it's like, I want to see one, it's like, and I always joke with my dad, it's like, if I see one, I'm going to make friends with them, or whoever. It's like, because I think everybody just scares, like, when they see a,
Right.
and I know and the reason why, I get attracted to, to what you guys do, because one of those things, spirituality is very embedded in our culture, in the Mexican culture. Like, we have like the Llorona, the wailing
La
lady,
Llorona,
and who killed, for people who don't know, her husband left her, and she was upset, and she killed her kids, and she killed herself, drowned her kids, and then finally she killed herself, and then now it's like this urban legend that she's like roaming around in Mexico and looking for her kids. So it's one of those things that just passed on, that spirituality part of it is just passed on from generation to generations.
Yeah.
And it just I'm always interested into that. So do you think should I take that seriously, like, or do you think, like, for the most part, these are just beings that just are harmless, and they're just trying to get like you said, trying to get attention?
Right. I think.
Or am I just crazy that I want to be friends with a ghost?
No, not at all. I love that outlook on it, because honestly, I think all of this fear comes from the unknown, because if we can't.
Oh, right,
the senses that we all have, can't always pick up on spirits. Some people can, some people can't. A lot of us can't. And, so it's a lot of it is the fear of the unknown. That's the same as if, people were scared of a certain animal. They don't know how it's going to react. They don't know what it's all about. They don't know what the dangers are. And so I think it's completely, I mean, and that's not to say that you should just go and mess with something that you don't know what you're dabbling into. Like, I wouldn't recommend just going in, let's just play with the Ouija board and see what happens. Like, do your research. Make sure you're safe. Make sure you're taking those protective measures. But for the most part, it's just as dangerous as going down like a sketchy neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people can be just as equally as dangerous, if not more dangerous, in my opinion.
I feel like I fear
people more,
than ghosts, especially
Right.
like if
Oh,
you're
sure,
in a
sure.
place and
Yeah.
I'd rather run into a ghost than having somebody else be
Or like
be in
if
the
we're
location with us.
if we're doing an outside investigation at a cemetery or wherever, if we're just hanging out
Yeah.
outside, we're more scared of like a wild animal getting us than anything paranormal. Honestly,
It's like
because,
squirrel. Oh,
what was that?
spirit.
Oh,
Oh,
it's a
cool.
bear.
Awesome.
Yeah. Honestly, because a lot like. It's kind of, I feel the same way about people though in general. I feel like most people are good. And then there's some that are negative and crabby and do, harm to others.
That's
And
interesting. Yeah, that you said that. That's just crabby. That's just nagging.
Yeah,
They're
we just call them the crabby
Yeah.
spirits. Like, we've experienced some crabby spirits that they're not going to harm us, but they clearly don't want us there. And they're just kind of like, what are you doing? It's
Yeah.
like if you walked into somebody's house and they're like,
Right.
hello.
It's like, yeah.
Some are like, come on in. And some are like, get out.
Yeah, that's
So
funny.
You'll find a variety of things.
You find a mixture of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I wanted to ask you, is there like an event or there's something that you went, some place that you went to, and then something that sticks out, something that you experienced, something strange that you experienced, that after going, to this place or after experiencing that, you're like, wow, what was that? Like, have you experienced something like that? Is there something that sticks out?
I can let you go first because I'm chatty Cathy over here, but I'll talk about Shakers.
So, Shakers is one of them, but I'll let you talk about Shakers. Another place is I rent a haunted place.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So in Merrill, and I have witnessed things and have captured things there that I still talk about, and is still like very, very cautious of me going up there, just because there is a spirit up there that is very territorial of one room in particular.
Oh, okay.
And so he kind of. He's one of those, I say, crabby spirits.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah,
It seems like there's a lot of crabby.
But I have actually captured a a picture that kind of sticks with me because it kind of goes with the, I guess, story or whatever of the place. And I guess that's what kind of sticks with me is when something that you capture can actually correspond with what people are talking about.
Yeah.
Like
The story behind
And
it.
after that realization, then you're like,
Yeah, like this, I think it,
I'm
this
out,
is
yeah.
actually true, or, you know, something
Yeah.
like that. And,
I love it. I just love it how you just like very casually talk about this. If I talk about this, like I'm just like I would kind of keep my distance. I just love
there's certain people like that will be like, get chills, or be like,
Yeah.
I would never do what you guys do, or it's just like, but it's a passion. You gotta have that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
True,
A
true
lot of
about that.
people are just
Yeah.
crazy, so it's,
Yeah, we get that all the time.
So what about shakers?
Oh my God, so many things. So, I mean, the biggest thing for me, I think, was they told me. So, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about, like you said, curses and things like that. I don't really know how that works. That's something I would like to research a little bit more.
Oh sure.
But they did tell me that, like don't piss off the spirits at Shakers because something bad's gonna happen to you. First thing that happened was the owner, Bob Weiss. He came down. We were having drinks and, well, not drinks, but we had a drink.
Sure.
Pizza and whatever before the tour, because the tour didn't start till 9. We were going on the tour with the other, like with the public, and then we were spending the night there afterwards. So before the tour, we were eating and chatting and whatever at the bar, and he came up and asked me what my worst fear was, and I'm like,
Yeah.
my worst fear is like situational events, so like a tsunami or a plane crash or like being in a crazy
something you
scary-
can't control, right? Yeah,
like
something
a
out of your hands.
situation. And he's like, what about something physical? I'm like, a bee. I'm scared of bees, actually. Like, I will scream and run. And I kid you not, this was March. This was March. So the bees should not have been out yet. It was snowy. It was
No
freezing.
way.
We go upstairs to kind of look at the place before they give the tour. And there is a dead bee in the middle of the floor. I'm like, okay, how did this even get in here? They clean it all the time because it's an Airbnb. So there should not be a flippin' bumblebee in the middle of the floor. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I have a picture of it. So but that's not even crazy. That's just like kind of like a
That's just the
creepy
tip of the
coincidence.
iceberg, right?
Correct. That night, my dad passed away.
Oh, don't tell me that.
And,
So that night that with this whole bee scenario.
Yeah. So the night we spent the night at Shakers, and I will admit I was probably provoking the spirit a lot more than everybody else because we hadn't had a whole lot of activity during the night. It was quiet as a mouse. And in the morning is when things started to pick up again. And I was like, okay, show yourself. What's going on? Like, you haven't shown yourself. And is this place even haunted? And I was crabby because we drove 3 hours. And I'm like, nothing's happening.
You kind of provoked it. Yeah.
I kind of provoked it, yeah. And it got pissed off at me. And I have a picture of him. Patrick, his name is. We know exactly who it is because they have other pictures of him that they've caught.
No way.
So
you're going to make the connection. Yeah.
I will definitely show you that. But I just remember we found blood in the bathroom, and we're all women.
That
of
same
course,
night?
So I'm like, huh?
That same time? That same night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we only spent the night once, like that one night.
Oh, so this is kind of like through, your experience
like,
at one time.
Yeah. Yep. And so in the morning I found and I have photos of the spots of blood, and she was actually the girl that was murdered up there. She was like chopped into tiny pieces in that bathroom. So there's blood. So that matches the story.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so we're all women. So I'm like, ladies, does anyone, is this anybody, trying to figure out a logical explanation for this blood?
Yeah.
And nobody's like menstruating, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, then I really don't know. Anybody get cut? Anybody get a paper cut? Anybody, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And nobody could figure out where this blood came from, and I have pictures of it. But then when I came home that next day, we found out that very night my dad passed away at the age of 41. No explanation.
Wow, super young.
No explanation. So we still don't have an explanation. This was 3 years ago. So
I'm sorry for your loss, but but
you.
that's that whole.
It's weird.
It must have been like a mixture of like a lot of emotions,
Right. Yeah. So it was like I mean, it could be a coincidence. I just thought that was really weird. That I was the one provoking it, and it was like that happened to me that night, and for no reason. At 41, my dad passes away. Like that's
super young. I mean, that's
without right. And so I'm like, okay. So I honestly don't know what happened there, but for me that like stuck with me. And just the feeling too, I've never experienced such a scare, like a feeling of terror of being in a space. Like, I refuse to go in there by myself. I will hold Katie's hand. I need somebody on either side of me to go. And we've been doing this for 3 years. Not a whole lot, but enough to be where I should be able to go into places by myself. I will not go in there by myself. I especially won't go upstairs by myself. Me and Katie heard that. Little girl, if you want to talk about that.
So it was funny because we were all sitting downstairs and it was like,
Yeah.
you forgot your purse.
I forgot my purse up there. I'm like, oh.
So she's like, I won't go up there by myself. Will you come with me? Sure, I'll go.
Yeah.
We get up there and we were just like the furthest as we could inside of this now.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we hear this little girl or like a girl's voice just say, hello.
Like very clearly, very pristine.
Like she was right behind Katie.
Like it was standing next to us.
No.
And we're looking around,
We
looking around,
both
and
of our
she's like, grabs her purse, and we're just like, yeah, we're gonna leave for now. We'll be back later tonight.
The look in our faces, like we
No
looked at
way.
each other and both of our eyes went huge, like the moon. Like we were.
I think it was only because though that we weren't really expecting it at that moment.
Right.
in time.
Yeah.
Right. We were just.
kind of like freaked us out a little
Oh
bit. You
my
know?
god. We were like, okay, we made it. Get our purse, and then we're both like,
Be like, okay,
Yeah.
like this, and then we're both like, go.
Yeah, there's something that resonated with me. Like there was one time that that was in my bedroom. I was in my bedroom and I was sleeping, and it was like in the morning, and I heard like little footsteps, like that, and I it sounded like somebody shut my door, not like rough, but just like very gently shut my door. And my dad, it's only me and my dad, and it's like, do we have visitors? And like, no. And I'm like, well, I heard like a toddler walking up there, and somebody shut my door. She's like, no. And I'm like, so I just kind of like, and then after that, I just like, I needed to like move away, go downstairs. I needed somebody to hold my hand. But I mean, is this something like you can't shut off sometimes? Like when you go into a place where like, I wonder why, kind of like when you went to Shakers, like is that something you can shut off, or you always thinking it's like, oh, this place looks like there's some weird vibe, in it, or?
I think now that we've been doing this for so long, now we just go in and like automatically we're like,
We can feel whether
yeah.
it's there.
We're more aware. We notice it more. Like before we started the team, maybe walking into a place is just like walking into a place. And I feel like, at least for me, like, okay, if I'm walking into a busy restaurant, I probably don't notice it as much because there's so much other
there's so
things
much distractions.
going on. And so I'm just like thinking about my food, because if I'm at a restaurant, I'm just hungry and I'm thinking about my food.
I go to the eat.
Right.
Yeah.
But when we walked in here, when you guys were setting up, I asked the girl, I said, And like, when there's not as many distractions.
Wait, what do you mean? What happened? Like,
oh, I'm sorry. I just asked her if it was haunted, and she said she didn't really think so. But,
oh, sure.
And so I'm just like, okay. But it's still interesting to kind of like look around and check things out. So, I mean, I think now we always just like, like we become a little bit more aware.
More aware, yeah.
Vibe.
Yeah. We're like, gotta feel the vibe. Yeah.
Gotta feel the vibe, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would just find it interesting. Yeah, because I truly, believe that everything's just like energy, and all that energy needs to go like somewhere.
And some places are just truly creepy and not actually haunted. Like, for example, we did the Estonian church in Gleason. That is a really creepy, oldest church in Wisconsin or in America? Like, I don't know. It's famous for something. I can't even remember off the top of my head. But we went, and it's like in the middle of Gleason, in the middle of the, like, pretty much in the middle of the woods, pretty much. Creepiest building you'll ever see ever. But it's definitely not haunted. But it is creepy.
Oh, okay.
So people will just be like,
it's creepy, but it's not haunted.
There's
Harmless.
like rumors that there was an exorcism in the basement, and that there was because it looks like straight out of a horror film. And we investigated it, quiet as can be. Didn't even get creepy vibes. It looks creepy, and it's like the perfect set for like an exorcism movie or something. But it's not haunted.
I was going to ask you if there's something, somebody out there that's watching this and they're like, I've noticed this, or I felt this weird energy. Like, what are some of the criteria? You'll be like, okay, what's going on? Okay, we can go out there and do an investigation. So what's the criteria? Is it because it's some, it can be either like this unexplained voice, like you said, like maybe like that girl saying hello, or like is it just this weird energy or thing just falling from the bookshelves, or what's the criteria when you be like, okay, well, I think this is enough that we have a case and we can do an investigation? So what are some of the things that you kind of look for before going to a place?
What we would kind of ask is, how long has it been going on for?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If they really can't figure out any explanation. Like they've already looked into it and can't figure it out, but are like scared to death that they really just need to know.
Yeah.
That's when we decide kind of like
Right.
we want to help at least.
Like we won't
get to
turn
the
them
bottom
down
of
if
it
they're
all.
really
Yeah,
that
get to the
scared.
bottom of it kind of thing. Just
Yeah.
to, even if it's just making peace. Like okay, we figure it out what is making the stuff happen, or
Right.
just to give them that closure, I guess.
Or if we can even go in there and just tell them what we think might be happening, even if it is a haunting, to give them the peace of mind, like it's not gonna hurt you, it's not gonna,
Just
you
they're
know.
harmless. Just
Kind of
get them your attention, but not too much, and then
Right.
they'll be fine. Acknowledge them a
just
little
say
bit.
hi or something.
Right.
You notice something's going on.
Yeah.
And if it's something where it needs like spiritual cleansing, or if we think it's like truly evil and it needs something that's beyond what we do, then we will go to the next step. But thankfully, we've never had to go that far. We have saged houses before, and that has seemed to help, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think a lot of it is just being there to give knowledge, to give, or to, to educate people on what it is, because they're so scared of the unknown, and they're like, oh my God, Hollywood makes ghosts whatever
Right,
seem to be
it's
just
Hollywood.
for Halloween,
make everything
and it's
dramatic,
scary,
yeah.
and it's evil, and it's this and that, and it's really not. And so I think even if we can't get rid of it, which 9 times out of 10 we don't, we just go there to say, okay, this is what we found, this could be a haunting, or we really don't think it's a haunting, or whatever. Like there's been a few places where we've got nothing, absolutely nothing, and we're just like, but we just give them suggestions, like if you are really truly scared, like just try to talk to it, like just try to get to know it, just know it's not going to hurt you, and I know it's might be freaky, but if you really want to cleanse your house or try to get rid of it, I guess we try to suggest ways to raise the vibe in there, I guess.
Raise the vibe.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of it's just like kind of educating people on at least our theories, because I mean, obviously none of this is proven, but we know how advanced science is. So we just kind of go in there and give comfort to people, I think, too, and like help them.
Yeah,
learn
for
more
sure.
about
I mean,
it.
it's really cool. It's really awesome. What you're doing.
Thank you.
In the community, and like I said before, it's like I just wanted to bring light to that.
Right.
And because it can tie so many cultures. It's not only the Hispanic culture. I know like the Hmong culture too. They believe in like spirits, and also like in the American culture. So I think it can. This is something that can be useful. The service that you guys offer can be useful for like for so many cultures. So so I appreciate your time. But before we go, where can guys find you guys? You said you have the website. What's the website again?
Yep, it's parkcityparanormal.godaddysites.com, I believe.
Okay.
It is linked on our Facebook page too, so you can.
And
go
your
to Park
Facebook
City.
is Park City.
Yeah, just Park City
Paranormal on Facebook.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So you can search that, and then from there, I believe I have it linked on, like right on the bio, like the page when you first go to the page.
Yeah.
And we also have Instagram. I just made a TikTok, so I think we're gonna be doing more with TikTok.
Nice.
If I can figure out how to work it, I'm old now. We have a YouTube channel. We're just working on editing and
working on the kinks.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, we have things filmed. We have things ready to go. We just have to kind of organize it. And
sure.
I guess also they can find us if they want to go to Spirits in the Spring 2024. We don't have all the details on that, but we will. If you check our page, we'll have details on that. We're going to be speakers this year.
Oh,
so
nice.
We're
That's a good way to promote what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And,
we are pumped. We are so
Nice.
honored because people from Ghost Adventures are going to be there. People from Ghost Hunters,
Yeah.
those shows, the Ghost
Oh,
Hunters,
sure.
they're like, it's people like that.
That's
the
fun.
CEO of Paraflix. I mean, it's a big event. It's a big thing. People come from all over the United States, and we were chosen to speak. So I'm so excited about that. I'm so
Sounds
honored.
like a good old time.
Yeah. So if you love the paranormal, that is a Paracon
That's where to go.
check out.
Yeah.
Yep. And we'll have more information on that probably on our website and our Facebook coming up when we find out. We'll get more info in January, and that'll be probably April or May. Yeah.
Sounds good. So there's some stuff in the works. I like that
Lots of
YouTube
stuff in the
channel,
works.
and that's cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay spooky.
Yeah. Thanks. Wisconsin podcast is a window into the Hispanic community and Latino culture.
ECLWP, a program that blends current events, art, culture, and more.
A place that features local leaders in the Hispanic community and discuss their impact in society.
Information, opinions, and content shared during the Color Latino Wisconsin podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent or reflect those of the guests, audience, and Latinx community.
The primary purpose of this podcast is for the creators to share their lived experiences to help inform and educate the public.
Advertising which is incorporated into, placed in association with, or targeted toward the content of El Color Latino Wisconsin without the approval and knowledge of the podcast creators is forbidden.